Hi Cancer, my lunar brothers and sisters, welcome to your week ahead Taroscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you for it. With that said, if you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do so on the website addressed below. And before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So, throwing them all over the place. All right, so this week for our key to the week, we've got the Devil card, right? So your Devil card tends to, you know, in terms of what's going to come up this week, you're going to be asked to really pay attention to your own bullshit. This week, you know, you guys know me, I call it like I see it. This week you are going to probably have some sort of event, some sort of experience that comes up that's going to ask you to look at the patterns that you fall into, you know, and sometimes it's hard, right? Because sometimes we have things that we go to as a default. Sometimes we just defer or default to a certain reaction or you know, position or stance or whatever because of our programming, because of our own personal conditioning. This week you'll be given an offer to This week you will be given an experience that will show you how you can transcend that, providing you remain conscious. The Devil card, and I always liken it to this. Think about it like this. If you pick something up and you choose to do it, that is a choice. If it then becomes an addictive pattern because that's, you know, the way that you approach things, or, you know, maybe you get hooked on something, that's not necessarily to say that you're, you know, it's still a choice. Do you know what I mean? Like, even if you feel that whole point of, oh, you know, I'm addicted, or I feel like I can't do without it or without them, this will reveal to you this week where it is that you're holding on too tightly to something and where you keep making the wrong decision for what it is that you say that you want. Nobody wants to be you know, I use this lightly, not lightly, but nobody wants to be negatively attached to something or negatively dependent on something or someone. That's not freedom. And actually, if you look at this card, it's a really interesting deck, this. I love it. It's a Chiro Marchetti deck. So if you look at the card, right, you've got the Fool there who is naked and caged, and then, you know, the Devil is on top, sort of holding him kind of prisoner. Now, in that sort of refusal to look up, he can't see that the door's open, right? And this is always a reminder that sometimes the results of the choices that we've already made can feel like a prison, or they can feel very trapping, but it is up to us to look around and say, right, okay, I got myself into this mess, so how do I get myself out? So your actions and your path ahead, you've got the Page of Pentacles. So for a lot of you, this may very well be about your business, it may be about your job, it may be about, you know, the feeling this week is there's going to be something that presents itself where you kind of say, shit, you know what, I made a rod for my own back when it comes to work, when it comes to my business. What is it that you have maybe done too much of? What is it that you maybe have done too little of? This is asking you to look at what your patterns and your choices are when it comes to work, when it comes to your business, when it comes to your daily small habits as well. What are the things that you do in a small way that add up to a waste of time or productivity? And this isn't to say, you know, everything has its purpose. You know, sometimes you need to do something that's going to allow you to switch off. Sometimes that looks like TV. Sometimes it's binging a Netflix series. Sometimes it's scrolling through your phone. Sometimes it's a walk out in nature. Sometimes it's going out for dinner with friends. Everything has its time and place. It's how much you're utilizing that as a crutch, and how much you're actually then just becoming dependent on it and eventually addicted. This could really be revealed to you this week in a big way. So your communications and conversations, you've got the Six of Pentacles. If I'm completely honest with you, Cancer, this is about where you keep bailing somebody out. And the feeling that I get from this is there may very well be someone, maybe a younger someone for a lot of you, that contacts you and kind of says, oh, you know, things are bad, or, you know, and it might not necessarily be monetary. it could be anything across the board. Whatever it is this person is phoning you for, this is something that they ask you for on a consistent basis. And it looks like this week you're going to come up against that moment where you kind of say, shit, you know what? Maybe it's a boss, you know, maybe it's something to do with your work where your boss always kind of puts that extra load of work on you but never on anybody else, and you just happen to do it most of the time because you enjoy it, and you know, whatever it does, it's not a big thing. But this week you could kind of catch yourself and say, actually, you know what, no, nobody else does this, so why am I doing it? And the whole point is you've made a rod for your own back, where it's kind of like, you know what I mean, it's almost like you don't know if you can say no anymore because you've been saying yes for so long. It's the same with this week. It looks like somebody's calling you to say, look, I need you to bail me out. The problem is it's not the first time, and this is where you need to start drawing that line of, where do I draw the line at taking responsibility for somebody else? And ultimately, you know, and you guys have heard me say this before, sometimes when you assume responsibility for fixing things in other people's lives, you're kind of standing in the way of them learning what they need to. For your money and materials, you've got the Empress card. This is gorgeous, right? This is great because it means that your finances, your own money, definitely picking up speed. This is totally in line with the Empress has been very active this week, which is interesting because Venus moves into the sign of Taurus on the 4th of March, which is the day after I'm filming these. So very, very interesting indeed. When it comes to money, when it comes to materials, it looks like you could be getting a boost in your finances. It looks like you could be getting some sort of outside help, some sort of outside funding, maybe finding a different revenue stream. Because it falls underneath the Page of Pentacles, this could be finding a side hustle, or maybe for some of you finding a second job, or maybe it's just increasing the yield of the finances or the money that you can make from whatever it is that you do. This is a really good week for you to ask for the promotion, ask for the pay rise, ask for the support, like whatever it is that you need by the way of money and materials. This is a week for you to ask for what you need, because the chances are it will be offered. It's probably likely to come through women, through some sort of older female peer, maybe, you know, maybe whoever it is that you're asking for a boost in your finances is a woman, you know, because this is the Empress after all, so it's always a very feminine sort of energy. For a select few of you, this bodes very well for a pregnancy. I don't necessarily feel like this is where you will get pregnant. I feel this is more an energy of where if you're already pregnant, you're just enjoying the time of it. So maybe you're coming out of the morning sickness period. Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing, just on a really mundane sort of level, because it's the 6 of Pentacles and it's the Empress. So for your love and relations, you have the Temperance card. Now this kind of makes a lot of sense to me, because love and relations isn't just about your personal relationships, it can also be about family. And I feel like this person that's going to hit you up, come to you with, you know, with the cap in the hand, or ask for your help or your support with something, this person does this a lot. And like I said, it's not going to be something, it's usually one of those things, you know, where that person, as soon as you see their name come up on the phone, it's like, oh, okay, what do they want now? What is it that they need now? And this Temperance card is really asking you to rebalance that relationship. It's asking you to bring the relationship closer to what it should be, as opposed to what somebody else is using it as. You know, whether that's for your resources, whether it's for your time, whether it's for your money, whether it's for your connections. You know, sometimes it's just that, like, oh, you know, yeah, they can get us into this, or they can do that for us to smooth the way. This week you'll be examining that and kind of thinking, you know what, I think I'm going to have to start sort of limiting some of this stuff. And your Temperance card is basically saying, where has something come out of, what's the word? You know, where has something come out of balance? You know, where is something off kilter and is no longer really contributing as much as it takes? You know, for those of you that are single, this could be an interesting week for love, right? Because you've got the Temperance card coming off the Empress card. So it does look like you're interacting with somebody that is, you know, in a really good place. I have to say there are a lot of differences between you, but it could be a case of opposites attract this week. For those of you that are partnered, this really looks like when you stand your ground, your partner's going to say to you, do you know what, I'm really proud of you for, you know, they might just kind of silently be in the background like, one day either they're going to have to say no, or I'm going to have to step in, and it's going to sort of put a strain on our relationship. It might have done already. However, this week it looks like you're already putting your foot down yourself, and you're kind of just turning around and saying, no, you know what, I'm not going to do that. And it might be that your partner comes forward and says, wow, you know what, I'm really proud of you for getting to where you needed to be without me pushing or without me having to get involved. It's only going to strengthen your relationship in the long run. All right, so with that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care. I'll see you soon.